All right, so if you're watching this video, this means you already got your segments in place. You know exactly who you're planning to talk to, whether it's CEO, sales leader, in which country, in which industry, what kind of funding stage are they at, how many employee count they are at, and so on. So the question is, okay, I did the first touch point, I got few pointers, I got few angles, and I think I'm ready to send the first message. But keep note, not every single person is going to respond on your first message. We already put a benchmark at Expand East that your reply rate could not go for LinkedIn DM should not go below 30%. So 30% is your healthy metric for the reply rates. But what about the rest of the people? Maybe they are busy. Maybe they were occupied. Maybe your messaging does not make sense to them, or it's not relevant. Maybe you did your best and it's a very good message. However, it doesn't make sense right now at his stage and the way he thinks of things. So this is exactly when follow-up comes into place. And honestly speaking, a lot of golden revenues that we unlocked for some of our interesting partners, whether it can be Shopify, uCloud, Alibaba as well. You know what we did? We realized that follow-up was a very important place to double down on. And I will tell you why. Now, HubSpot, let me get this screen full. HubSpot actually say 75% of sales need at least 5 follow-ups to actually close. And by closure, I mean, from my point of view, meeting, okay? Now, 5 follow-ups I think is a bit too much, especially for LinkedIn DMs. Most likely you need at least, for messaging wise, you probably need to have maximum 3 follow-ups, and there will be a lot of touch points, like for example, liking recent posts, visiting profiles, and so on and so forth. Now let's get to it. Now I usually use for my automation, because I don't like to do manual follow-ups, especially if somebody did not respond to me on the first touch point. Because when does automation take place? Let's just be careful about this. Only when somebody does not respond to you. That's it. So I send them a message, I tailored everything for them, and guess what? They ghosted you. Only then you can do automation. But never ever do automation if somebody's actually responding and replying to you. That is insane. And whoever is saying like, let's just do AI automation, that's bullshit. And honestly speaking, humans love to speak to humans. And if you ask me, that's exactly why we are so careful about automating only the things that make sense. If you want to speak to a human, you need to have a human. If you're going to use AI and all of this bullshit, AI, SDR, it's a completely waste of time, burns your total addressable market, and it's not really matured at this point of time. Looking at, I'm making this video in July 2025. I'm using GetSales. Why am I using GetSales? Now I'm using GetSales because it's just one of the vendors I like to work with when I want to do automation. So there's a lot of other tools like HeyReach and a few other, Amplify and a few others as well. And honestly, I'm not biased. I don't care about which one is best and which one is not. All of them probably is the same thing, same features and same benefits. The reason why I think GetSales for me is making more sense is they just have better deals in terms of sender profile, because I usually have a lot of sender profiles when I want to scale my campaign. Now, this is just an idea of how GetSales look like. Obviously, as you can see, if you go to the dashboard, it gives you an idea like what is the connection acceptance level, how many people are replying to you right now, is this campaign working or not working, should I change or tweak my messages, and so on. So after, I assume like, I'm not going to teach you how to use GetSales because that would be a waste of time. I believe there's a lot of good YouTube videos that can tell you how to use automation. Probably if you did comment in the comment section on you want my tutorial on that, I'm happy to show you in details how we do it as well. However, be careful. When we are doing or uploading a contact, we call this like the segment that we discussed. We need to always put a naming on it. So as you can see here, for example, XE, and then usually the abbreviation of the person that will be uploading, because we have in Expandees more than about 35 plus SDRs and BDRs. So they actually have their own abbreviation of the names. We target which country, what is the growth stage of this company, how many employee count, and then also the industry as well. Is it fintech? Is it agri-tech? Is it SaaS? What kind of industry is it? I want to give highlights on something very important. So when we're automating, and that's exactly an example of how a campaign looks like on GetSales, we always have multiple campaigns because honestly, again, every campaign is for a segment and every segment gets its own messaging and its own follow-ups. And I cannot send the same messaging to a CEO of that company to business development manager of that same company. So I will tackle business development manager, not the same way as I'm tackling a CEO. That's exactly why it matters to have hundreds or thousands of campaigns, depend on how scalable things are from your side in terms of outbound motion. And that's how it looks like. And as you can see, for Expand East, like this is just one of the campaigns of Expand East, we have a lot of sender profiles. And the reason for that is I usually look into this. If I'm reaching to about 3,000 prospects, example, I probably need to allocate at least 10 sender profiles. And these 10 sender profiles need to be hyper optimized. And that's to maximize our reach fast. I don't want to wait forever to achieve my results. I want to see results within the next 30 days. I don't have time to wait for this prospect to that other prospect. I have, let's say, 3,000 prospects. That's exactly my target for this month, and I need to reach to all of them. I need to do full coverage on LinkedIn DM so I can jump to other channels for the ones who did not accept my connection request. So this is why it's a big deal, and that's why how we position Expand is differently compared to any other agency, because we have a huge pool of agents that stand by and we're using their LinkedIn verified profiles. They are not fake profiles. They are not. A lot of agencies I see using fake profiles. It doesn't last maybe maximum 2-3 weeks and then gets restricted and banned for good. These are real people, real agents of Expand East, and they are acting consistently on a professional level to secure meetings in one place using this Gate Sales Automation platform. Now, I just want to highlight a few things related to following up messages. So let's say I'm going to give you a scenario here. This is the first touch point, okay? So we are approaching the CEO obviously in a tech company, right? That most likely is growing. So he accepted a connection request and it starts like this: got something for you, obviously his first name. When CEOs hit the stage, you're add to his company name, obviously his company. The GTM loads gets heavy. But building the team too early can burn resources fast. That's a big deal for a lot of CEOs. And they don't want to build resources. They don't want to burn resources fast at the early stage. Otherwise, they're going to lose money. They're going to lose their runway. And then for what? Okay, they need something at least more secured for them and lowers the risk. So we've seen leaner ways work well with competitor name at early AI startups. So you can guess, like, we're focusing on AI startups, CEOs in these AI startups. And usually what we do is we mention a competitor name in the same space that has been doing so well. And obviously our research team has been really vetting that competitor along with other competitors to see what kind of GTM playbook they are using. And we take that as a lead magnet and we tell them, like, should I send it over? Why should he say no? As simple as that. That's a very good lead magnet. I mentioned his competitor name. I told him all his pain point. Why should I say no? But imagine sending this message to a finance manager. I really don't care. Or imagine sending this messages to a business development manager. It's okay. I don't care, Bill. It's not my scope. So that's exactly what it means. And you can see on the right hand, users that replies, we get about 34%. From 48% are usually opening it. So these are some of the early stage metrics you need to be careful of. So this is another variant. I have mentioned this in one of my previous videos about you could actually go as simple as that. Like, I am from Expand East, a fast-growing B2B partnership company in Southeast Asia, trusted by CEOs and foreign founders from Fortune 500. Happy to meet you. Guess what? We actually got replies 43%. Is actually much more than the other one. Now, here's the interesting thing. Some of them actually ask, like, what can I know a little bit more on what kind of Fortune 500 companies are you working with? So when does this matter? We see these messages usually matters when we are actually targeting big companies or big corporations. Let's say, for example, I'm reaching a company that is over 1,000 plus employees. Very high chance they really care about working with agencies that are dealing with Fortune 500 companies. And that's one of the trigger things. That's why I always urge a lot of co-founders, a lot of sales leaders, you really need to test your messages. There's no such thing as a winning 100% message, as long as it makes sense. You test this with, let's say, 100 prospects. Which one got the highest replies? Let's say this one. Now, did it get you a momentum? Because the whole point of the first touch point is to get them to reply. Neutrally or positively is fine, but not negatively. And then after that, there's always the follow-up. That's what we're discussing. So when do we follow up? We follow up when this person is not responding. So ghosting you. So, hey, first name, we put together a lean GTM setup that helps founders test real buyer response before building out a full sales or a marketing team. It's been useful for avoiding false starts and wasted hires. Want a quick look. Again, this is so much related to their pain point. And guess what? This second touch point, if you notice, is a completely different angle. So your second touch point should start to say, like, you know what, maybe the first angle did not make any sense. So for example, my first angle was about GTM loads get heavy. Maybe he feel like that's not clear or vague, or maybe I don't know what is GTM. Maybe, I don't know, some CEOs maybe not so much familiar with that. But then this comes into play and I tell them false starts, avoiding false starts and wasted hires. This has also got us about 21% in our second touch point. So this is what we call the best strategy or the best way to do a follow-up. Be careful about this because it can break your campaign. All right, so for the third touch point, it's fairly simple. Mark, any feedback on the above or no? Imagine like this, you're texting a friend and you tell him let's hang out, and then, I don't know, he ignored you for whatever reason. He's at work and then he go back at night and he forgot about you. Then what are you gonna do? Mark, are we going out or no? Question mark. That's exactly how it works. Third touch point is that simple, and you should be very much straightforward and direct. You can add slight humor if you want, but at the end of the day, be careful about over humor things or sending in jiffies, all of this silly stuff that I see some of the BDRs are talking about. It's very reckless and can damage your credibility and reputation. But when you're direct like this with a smiley face, that's enough. That's good enough. So it gets you there. That's it. That's it. And there's always a fourth touch point, but I refrain from putting it here. We call this a withdrawal touch point. That's my last time following up, or it seemed like you're quite busy. I will get back to you whenever you're ready. That's it. So it's that simple. Now, again, you need to manage your campaigns from one inbox, and that's why I highlighted to use tools like Get Sales, Hey Reach, Amplify, all those guys. And always need to make sure like who is going to be my sender profiles, are they optimized, what kind of messages I need to prepare. So when I say 6 to 7 messages, this means like A/B testing, like first touch point, 2 messages. And then the second follow-up, maybe 2 messages. And then the third follow-up, and then the fourth follow-up. Done. That's it. This is your campaign, how it looks like. And obviously tools like Get Sales will pull everything in one inbox and with multiple accounts, so you can manage everything swiftly and quickly. That's basically it for you to understand on how to manage at one place. As you can see, like from here, it gives you an idea like, okay, this one is engaging, replied, this one is positive, this is going to be an opportunity, not interested, meeting, based of course on the time frame that you put. So these tags, you can do it for yourself, for your team, whoever is managing your campaign. And it's much more efficient like this instead of you doing any sort of manual work or manual activity. That's it for me, as simple as that. Thank you so much. I hope this video is valuable. If you like it, share it. If you don't like it, give a comment why you didn't like it, so we can enhance our content, our video to suit your requirement and your needs. Thank you so much and have a good day.